This is Required Watching, where we watch the essential films from lists of cinematic influencers and look at them through the lens of learning about filmmaking and how to move forward. It's Trey Epps here, and today we're talking about Takashi Miike's Audition. It's one of the most disturbing, psychologically complex horror films that I've seen in a very long time. Released in 1999, this slow burn thriller starts as a seemingly innocent love story and potential romance, only to devolve into a nightmare of obsession, control, and violence. Let's get going. All right, so what makes Audition so powerful and unsettling is its exploration of human desire and the dangerous consequences of manipulation and repressed emotions. Through its narrative, Audition blurs the lines between fantasy and horror, leaving viewers with a lingering sense of unease long after the credits roll. It really is a story about loneliness and longing. The film follows Shigeharu Ayoma, Ayoma, Ayama. Anyways, a middle-aged widower who, at the suggestion of a friend, holds a fake audition for a film to find his new wife. Enter Yamazaki, a quiet and mysterious young woman who captivates Ayama with her beauty, grace, and apparent vulnerability. As their relationship develops, what seems to be like a straightforward romance begins to unravel, exposing the darker sides of both characters. Miike masterfully subverts the audience expectations by slowly building the tension of Audition. For much of the film, Ayama's quest for love feels like a melancholic character study about a man trying to fill the void left by his late wife. The film's first half is quiet, introspective, and almost romantic. It lulls the viewer into a false sense of security. When Asami appears to be the ideal woman, demure, soft-spoken, and devoted to Ayama's needs, it feels like a dream come true. However, subtle clues hint at something darker beneath the surface. Asami's strange, withdrawn behavior, her cryptic background, and eerie empty apartment that she calls home. It's in the second half of this film that it really starts to take shape, revealing its true nature as a psychological horror story. Asami's facade crumbles, and her repressed rage comes to the forefront. Ayama, who thought he could control the narrative of his life by manipulating the audition process, finds himself trapped in a horrifying power dynamic. Asami's actions, rooted in her traumatic past and deep psychological wounds, turn the tables on Ayama, and he becomes the victim of her sadistic retribution. The shift from romance to horror is jarring and strange and beautiful, but Miike's slow pace and careful attention to detail make the transition feel natural and inevitable. What really makes Audition unsettling is like the themes of desire and control. Ayama's desire for a perfect, submissive partner is reflected in the way he uses the audition as a means of choosing the right partner, without giving her much agency to choose him. His manipulation of the situation on the surface, harmless, a man seeking love after years of loneliness. But it's rooted in an outdated and patriarchal view of relationships. He sees Asami as an object to fulfill his desires, not as a person with her own complexities and pain. Asami, on the other hand, represents the darker side of desire, the desire for revenge, validation, and control. Her violent actions are not just about punishing Ayama for his deception, but about expressing the deep, festering anger she feels towards a society that has objectified and abused her. Asami's sadism is shocking and grotesque, but it's also tragic and rooted in her traumatic experiences and the emotional scars she carries. Well, also physical scars that she carries. Through Asami, Miike raises unsettling questions about power dynamics between men and women, the exploitation of vulnerability, and the consequences of repressed trauma. The film has an infamous torture scene where Asami inflicts brutal pain on Ayama, and it's one of the most disturbing things I've seen in quite a long time. It's visceral. It's not necessarily gory, but it's still somehow impactful, and how exactly they use graphic like imagery. And I think it's Miike's deliberate pacing and quiet, methodical direction that ekes the tension out and really turns the stomachs of viewers. There's no frantic action or excessive gore, but it's slow and excruciating, and it's the realization that Ayama is completely at Asami's mercy. The scene is as much about psychological torment as it is about physical pain, and it serves as an ultimate reversal of power between the two characters. That, and you talk about the psychological reversals during this scene, it makes it all so much more powerful. Throughout the film, Ayama projects his idealized version of Asami onto her, ignoring the warning signs and constructing a fantasy in which she is the perfect partner. But this fantasy is shattered when the truth about Asami's past is revealed. In many ways, Audition is a critique at how we create fantasies around the people we desire, only to be confronted with a messy, complicated reality of who we truly are. Ayama's failure to see Asami as a real person with her own history and trauma leads him to his downfall, making the film a classic horror. Audition is a great film. There's really not much more to say about it. There's so much to take away from this film and how we honestly interject themes of our films and make it more than the genre that they're about. Talk in the industry, there's a lot of talk about Trojan horses. Making shows that feel like one thing, but really it's about something completely different. And I think this film does just that. You think you're going in for, a classic horror film like I did, but you walk away from it with a complete mind F. Like it totally takes over your mind in a way that you don't expect. And when you think more about it, you realize how deep and how layered this film actually is. Would I recommend this movie? Well, of course. It's most certainly a required watch, and how we put genre on display. I think people usually think of gory things. People think in the vein of slashers or I don't know. There's so many different subgenres of horror. But I think what this does is actually subvert what we expect and gives us more of a story and something more. So with that, watch this movie. Listen, if you like what you're hearing, what you're seeing, please do me a favor and like and subscribe. And if you have any other film recommendations, please let me know. I'll add it to my list and hopefully we can talk about it soon. With that said, let me know what you thought about Audition or if it's on your list of films to watch. And until next time, peace.